All right, hey everybody, it's Daniel. Thanks for joining me today. Today's video is going to focus on the splits, specifically front back splits or Hanumansana. It's one of my favorite things to train. It was one of the first things that I kind of discovered on my own and realized that my body could do some pretty incredible things. So for today, I'm not going to be using a mat, but you could absolutely use a mat. What I would recommend is having 2 blocks handy, or could be soup cans, could be anything that you could just hold yourself up on. Other prop I recommend is either 2 pillows or 2 blankets, something to pad the knee, and eventually something to slide across the floor on. That could also be a sock or a piece of clothing. You can get creative. What I hope to inspire is just finding different ways to maintain engagements in the muscles as you stretch them. So I always prefer more engagements rather than less engagement. It usually provides a more effective stretch. It provides more stability and eventually more control over your muscles at that range of motion, which is pretty useful stuff. One more quick thing is listen to your body, especially when you start to move towards end ranges of motion. Think marathon pacing when you're training splits or really any sort of flexibility thing, yoga. You don't need to achieve everything today. Right? So take your time, listen to your body. If the body tells you to back off or stop, do just that. Back off or stop. All right? Let's get started. We'll start standing. And we're going to just move throughout all the joints of the body like we normally do. We can start rolling at the head and the neck. And there's really no specific number for these joint rotations. I'm trying to stick with 5 today, but that number is arbitrary. Go the other way if you haven't started to already. And start to swing the arms. Just gentle, easy momentum. Not flinging anything. Just finding some easeful movement. And then start to take that into a simple twist, side to side. Even though the focus is primarily the lower half of the body, I still think it's really important to just get the rest of the body on board for the movement we're about to do. And arms by your side, side to side. Because even though the focus is the lower half of the body, the rest of the body is always going to be participating. So why not give that a little bit of attention too? Good. And then feet about, let's say, hips width, start to circle through the hips. As if you could hit every corner of the room. And circle the other way. And when you get to the center, find something to hold yourself up on. You can do this at a wall or on a chair. You might not even need a prop, but I just think it's nice to have something to help you balance. And you're just going to start to kick your leg forward and back. And I'm not flinging it. I'm not trying to kick as high as I can. I'm just seeing the space that's ready for me to move into without using anything too dynamic. I'm just trying to find the muscles and switch legs. And then you can come down to the floor. As you come down to the floor, bring the soles of your feet together. Let the knees go wide. And start to circle through the hips, going forward, back, side, side. And start to go the other way. yourself to center. Take your hands behind you. Bring the legs wide. Draw yourself forward. And then lean back. Bring the feet together. And draw yourself forward. And a couple more times just like that. Legs wide. Hinge. Feet together. Feet apart. Just 2 more times. Not worried about how low you get, how wide you get. Right, there'll be plenty of time to get lower, stretch bigger. Next time the feet go wide, keep them wide. Just a couple of times going side to side. As you go side to side, feel for pressing backs of your thighs into the floor. And then draw yourself to center. Feet to the ground, going to roll onto your back. And just a couple of bicycle crunches with straight legs. So opposite elbow, opposite knee. Draw your belly a little bit in, a little bit up. If you're feeling a little bit more adventurous, as you bring opposite elbow, opposite knee, you can also try and lift your low back off the ground for a whole lot of lower abdominals. Next time the right leg's in, hug it in. Send your left leg long, interlace your hands behind. Just a couple of times straightening and bending. As you straighten and bend, you might try and draw your thigh a little bit closer towards your chest. But then next time the leg's straight, keep the leg straight. With your hands, pull back into your thigh. With your thigh, kick into your hands. So the leg won't really be going anywhere, but it'll be very active, very engaged. Keep that engagement for 3, for 2, 1. Stop kicking into your hand, but use your hands to pull your leg maybe just a little bit closer. Then one more time, kick back into your hands. With your hands, resist. Pull your leg back towards you for 3, for 2, for 1. Stop kicking, draw the leg in maybe just a little bit more. And then keep the leg where it is, but release your hands and just pulse. 3, 2, 1. Back to your bicycles. Opposite elbow, opposite knee. Maybe a little bit of a lift. And left leg in, right leg long. Interlace, straighten and bend. Straighten and bend. And then next time, leg straight, keep it straight. Hands pull, leg kicks. For 3, for 2, for 1. Stop the kick, but keep the pull, draw in mindfully. And then kick once again, pull once again. And stop the kick, draw the leg in a little bit more. And then keep the leg where it is, release the hands and pulse for 3, for 2, for 1. Hug 2 legs in. Easy circles with the knees. Open and close, open and close. And circle the other way. And draw your knees in. Rock yourself up to a seat. And come into a downward facing dog. In this downward facing dog, let's take a moment, pedal through the feet. And then from your downward facing dog, reach your right leg up into the air. And then gently lower all the way down. And then again, reach it all the way up, try and keep it straight. And then lower all the way down. And 2 more times. And one more time. This time keep the leg up, little pulses for 3, for 2, for 1. Step your right foot forward, and a couple of times, lunge, press back. Straighten your leg to the degree that you can. Lunge forward, squeeze left butt. Straighten both legs, reach your hips up and back. And say 2 more times. Lunge, lift, straighten, lengthen. Good. One more time. Lunge, lift, and then press back straight. This time keep 2 legs straight. Hop your left foot in a little bit for this pyramid fold. Now if the floor seems like it's far away, good place to bring the blocks. Any setting that just allows your hands to support you. And the right leg does not have to be straight. It could be a little bit bent. In fact, bend your knee to start. And then rather than just thinking of straightening the leg by pushing the knee back, feel for dragging your right hip back. Good. And then feel for reaching tailbone up. With your right foot, continue to press your foot into the floor like you were trying to kick it away from you. And then feel as if right heel was trying to drag back towards your right hip. A little bit of firmness, the top of your right thigh. Take an inhale, float up your heart. Exhale, hinge forward, step your left foot in. So there's about 2 inches between heel and toe. Then just a couple of times. Left leg goes up and down, up and down, up and down. 2 more, up, down, up, back. Take the pillow underneath your left knee. And then with the hands on the floor, a couple of times, your foot can be curled under or top of the foot can be pressed, but lift, lower, lift, lower, lift, lower, lift, and lower. And so you can keep your knee down just a couple of times. Curl your heel towards your butt. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Kick your left foot into the floor. Walk your hands up to your right thigh. And first just allow the hips to start to draw forward and down a little bit. A little bit of firmness to the top of, or to the left butt. And then from here, start to draw your hips back until you come into this 90-90 lunge. Take your hands to the rim of the pelvis and feel as if you're trying to draw upward. Good. Now with the top of your left foot, keep kicking it into the floor. Keep lifting the rim of the pelvis up. And then imagine you're trying to slide your left knee forward. That's going to keep all of this very, very active. Also allow you to stretch it as you keep it active. Hands to the top of the thigh. Keep all that activity. Draw forward. And then back. Draw forward. And then back. One more time. Draw forward. Keep all of that. Left foot keeps pressing down. And just stay. Left foot pressing. Imagine left knee is trying to drag forward. Remember the pelvis is lifted. And steady, easy breaths. And say one more breath here. And release your hands down to the floor. Straighten through your front leg. And again, if the floor seems far away, great place for the blocks underneath your hands. A couple of times you can just point and flex or go side to side through the foot. And notice what that feels like in the back of your right leg. Then eventually, hands to the blocks or to the floor. Again, start with the right leg bent a little bit. And rather than thinking of just jamming the knee back, draw your right hip back. Good. Continue to dig your right heel into the floor, again, like you're trying to kick it away. A little bit of firmness at the top of your right thigh, your quadriceps. And for this, flex your toes back towards your face. Then draw your toes to the right. Keep the toes drawn to the right. Keep feeling for right heel dragging back, right hip dragging back, upper body stretching long. And then draw your toes all the way to the left. Keep flexing your toes back towards your face. And again, right heel digs into the floor. Right hip, feel it draw back. And then draw yourself to center, toes flex back. Take a big breath, lift up your heart. Exhale, hinge your body forward to the degree that seems reasonable in your body. Good. Walk your hands back. Point your toe. And 5 times. Up and down, 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 up, down. Rebend. Hands down. Step back, down dog. Once again, in your down dog, pedal through your feet. Probably feels a little bit different between both legs. That's okay. We're going to get to the other one right now. Left leg back. Reach all the way up. And then down. 4 more times. Up. And then down. Up. And down. Up. Down. This time as you come up, stay up in little pulses for 3, for 2, for 1. Left foot forward. Come into a lunge. Lift your heart. And then press yourself back. Straight legs. Lunge forward. Hips heavy, heart light. And then legs straight, hinge and lengthen. Good, and then lunge forward. Lift your hearts. And then press back, straighten your legs. 1 more time, lunge, lift your heart, and then straighten your legs. Most likely hop your left foot in a little bit, right foot in a little bit. Big breath through the heart, and then hinge. Here, once again, left heel presses into the floor. Bend your knee just a little bit, and then rather than just thinking of jamming the leg straight, feel for left hip drawing back, and as you do that, leg just straightens on its own. A little bit of engagement to the top of the left thigh, keep the quadriceps engaged, and keep all that activity. A couple more breaths here. And then step your right foot in. So there's about 2 inches between heel and toe. Hands to the floor or hands to blocks. And right leg lifts up and down. 4, 3, 2, 1, and back. Pillow for your knee. Good. And remember, it's okay to have the top of the foot down. It's okay to have the toes curled under. Whatever feels best for your body. And just a couple of times, lifting the leg, lowering the leg. Lifting, lowering. Now as I lift, I'm trying to keep my hips low. And I'm definitely using my butt. Let's say 1 more time, lift. And then lower as you lower this time. Heel to butt 5 times. 4 times. 3 times, 2 times, 1 time. Good. Climb your hands up to your left thigh. Just for a moment, feel what it's like to let the hips draw forward and down. But already start to feel your right foot press firmly into the ground. And then draw your hips back. 90-90 with the legs, with the hips. With the right foot, keep pressing it down. And then bring your hands to the rim of the pelvis. Feel that draw upwards. And with your right knee, imagine your right knee was trying to slide forwards towards your left heel. Keep all that. Same sort of engagement, come forward, don't have to go all the way, and then come back. Come forward, and then back. A couple more times, forward, and back, forward, and back. This time forward, stay forward, keep all that. Right foot presses down, right foot squeezed. Right knee, imagine it's trying to draw forward. And then slow the breathing down. Now for a lot of these postures, like these lunges or the half splits, I tend to do longer holds. It's kind of up to you to kind of feel it out. I feel my body benefits better from having longer holds, but staying active in them. I feel like there's benefit for shorter holds as well, so just kind of feel it out for yourself. Again, hopefully this is just giving you some ideas for what you could do when you're not in front of the video on your own. And then it's about time. Hands down to the floor. And straighten through your left leg. First, just find that little bit of a bend to the left knee. And then rather than just jamming the knee back, feel for drawing your left hip back. And then continue to dig your heel into the floor. Flex your toes towards your face. Feel for reaching your upper body long. With the toes flexed, draw your toes off to the left. Keep drawing left hip back. Dig your heel into the floor. And then draw your toes off to the right. Left hip still draw back. Left heel still presses down and still firm in the top of the thigh. And then draw your toes back to center. Flex them back towards your face. Inhale through your heart. Exhale, hinge your body forward. And keep all that engagement that you've set up. Walk your hands back. Point your toes. And 5, lift up. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Foot down, hands down. Press back down dog. Just for a moment, pedal through the feet, feel what it's like. And then set up for moving towards the splits. So this is the chance to have your blocks handy. Blanket, pillow, most likely underneath your back knee. Start with the right leg first. And blocks outside of your hips. Not too far forward, not too far back. And start in just a long over lunge. So just like you set up earlier, back foot is going to press down. And even though the leg is much lower towards the floor now, still feel as if your right knee was trying to draw forward. And then the left foot comes forward. Press your left foot firmly into the floor. And not even worried about like trying to get all the way down to the ground, trying to keep that engagement. Notice what it feels like. I'm trying to stay calm while still staying active, still staying present. After a few breaths there, you come back up. You take your left foot to a pillow, a blanket, something that you can slide out on. A couple of ways to work with these. With the hips starting stacked over your knee, start to slide forward. Slide forward, and then draw back. And then slide forward, and then slide back. Now the whole entire time I'm pressing my heel into the floor. I'm keeping my right leg active. You might start to go down a little bit lower. If you're feeling very adventurous, you can try it without hands supporting you. So then it becomes all about the legs. Some of you might even be able to come all the way down. and then come all the way back up. Very good way to explore your active flexibility. After a certain amount of time, let's say about 5 times, a couple of ways that you can enter your splits. You can keep that same sort of engagement and try and slide out like so. Hands here to prevent gravity from just having its way with you. Another good way to do it is to come back to the over lunge. And from your over lunge, you just start to send your left foot forward, left foot forward. Keep the right foot active. And at no point do you need to straighten both of your legs. But at a certain point, if you do want to straighten the legs, you could straighten that front leg. You can stay right here. Feel for left heel dragging back, right hip dragging forward, right foot kicking down. And then, right, you could stay here. If you do have the full splits, you could stay here. But the entire time, keep the activity in the legs. That same activity that we've been working with all of those warm-ups to get us to this point. And again, it really depends on how long you want to stay. I prefer longer holds, upwards of 60 seconds, sometimes longer, but less is totally fine as long as you're listening to your body. I'd say that's a great place to start. See how long you can go, see how it feels, and then move from there. It's time to move on to the other side. So however you want to do it, switch your legs. And start in this pretty long lunge. Left foot, press it down into the floor. Left glute is squeezed. Right foot, push it into the ground. And staying here, breathing your breath. Not worried about how low you're gonna go. Just enjoying where you are and seeing how at home you can feel there, really. And say after, a few breaths, 5, 10, 15, bring your front foot to something that you can slide out on. Left foot, keep kicking it down, and then start to slide forward and back. Remember, hands can be on blocks, any setting. Or you can try it without the blocks. It's very hard. Very good though. Then, after 5 or so, you come out to something that feels like you can sustain, keeping that same activity you've been working with. Or you come back to the over lunge, stay here for a little bit, and then slowly you can start to creep your front foot forward. And then at a certain point, you know that you're totally fine to stay here. But if you wanted to, you could also straighten your leg, just to kind of see what it feels like to be working into both legs equally. And always having the hands on blocks to prevent gravity from just bringing you to a place too fast that you don't want to go into unprepared. And of course, if you're working on over splits, you could definitely throw a block underneath your leg. But especially if you start moving into deeper ranges of motion, keep all that sort of engagement we've been working on. So again, it's going to be right quad squeezed, left butt squeezed, and then right heel. My right heel's almost dragging back towards my right hip. My left foot presses firmly into the floor. My legs are so on board right now. And say after 5, 10, 15 breaths, you slowly start to draw yourself back up. And then what I like to do after I stretch both of those legs out, just finding a little bit of engagement in the front of the hip, both legs forward. And then both legs going backward. And if you have weights for the ankles, really great, really hard. And that about covers that. So, of course, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. If there's some drills, other drills that you'd like to see or like to know more about or have questions about, again, ask. And again, if there's something that you'd like to see for future videos, leave me a comment, shoot me a message. Thank you all for joining me, for your support. I hope you have a really, really great day. Let's keep moving.